We went straight to on. Hi!
Oh my arm!
Just in case you were wondering, this is the AfterBuzz.
It's been a weird day.
Yeah, it's been a strange day.
There we go. Let me get into the video. Is there no sound?
No, there is now.
Oh, okay. God, so quick to complain, people. Let us get set up. Hey, welcome to the AfterBuzz. It's been an interesting week. Buzz is gone. So it means it's been a little less stressful. You know, you don't have as many fights
That's true.
going on.
That's
You don't
true.
have to worry about somebody being an asshole. Yeah, I do look really red, actually. Why is that? Am I actually red?
It's a new camera. I'll have to do some adjusting.
Oh, yeah. They're making me look like the Red Hulk. So anyway, so I got a few topics that we'll bring up today. And I was actually just telling Scott that we had done a news story today about Pepsi and Coke. And if you ask most people, which is your favorite, Pepsi or Coke, Coke.
You almost always
Pepsi.
wins. Yeah,
Most people are going to say Coke. Like you've never, like this is what Joanna said on the air today. She's like, you never go to a restaurant and ask for Pepsi, and they're like, is Coke okay? It's always, I'll have a Coke. It's always, is Pepsi okay?
That is so true.
It always goes the other way. Basically what they found out is that when it comes to overall taste and being able to drink an entire can of soda, Coca-Cola wins because it's smoother, it's not as sugary, and it's got like a more mild like vanilla taste to it.
Okay.
Pepsi, on the other hand, if you were to actually do a blind taste test between Pepsi and Coke, Pepsi's going to win because it's sweeter and has a little more of a citrusy burst flavor to it.
All right.
For that small taste. So for one sip, Pepsi's going to win. For Coke, that's the one you want to go buy, a can or a bottle or a 6-pack of, because that's the one that's going to be easier. So the reference that I made was Coke is the nice girl, the one that you take home to meet your mom, that you have a nice relationship with, a nice long relationship with. Pepsi is the club slut. Pepsi is the chick that you only hook up with for one night because, oh yeah, like that's cool for one night. Anything more than that, it's just fucking obnoxious. It's too much, and chances are you're going to catch something. With the club slut, you can catch syphilis. With Pepsi, you're probably going to catch diabetes if you drink it too much. So that was the reference that we had there in regards to Coke and Pepsi.
You getting paid
For what?
for advertising here?
No. Why?
I don't know.
Should I?
Because now Pepsi is the club slut.
The club
That
slut.
is really a good tagline for them. They should
Pepsi, the club
start-
slut.
Their sales would go up.
Yeah, but you know what they would have to do? They would just have to sell it in like 1 ounce shots. Rather than selling a full 12-ounce can, here you go. Here's the club slut.
Oh, you gotta take this one slow.
And they turned the Pepsi logo, like the circle.
Yeah.
They turned it into tits.
Nice.
They slapped that right on the can there.
Yeah. If I ever saw tits that had like a red, white, and blue kind of thing going on there, I'd be like, that's really nice.
Hey, Pepsi. Okay, so we talked about that. There's a couple other things. One of the things I was going to bring up last week, actually, it had to do with my girlfriend who, born in Juarez, lives here in El Paso now.
Okay.
So she obviously does not look white. I look pretty white.
You're pretty white.
Um,
Some would say exceptionally white.
yes, very much. Or depending on what the camera's doing, red.
Red, sometimes red. I took it down a little bit. If I take it down too much, the green screen starts to disappear.
Oh, yeah, we don't want to do that. So anyway, so we were at Walmart, and we had a cart full of stuff, like not like a full shopping trip, but a few items. And as we were leaving, they usually have the person that checks your receipt at Walmart, almost like they do at like Costco or Sam's.
Right.
But like when I go into Walmart and we're wheeling it out, I have the receipt there, and they're like, "Oh, just go ahead. Like, I don't need to check your receipt and check your items."
Ah.
So we walk through. Once we get to the doors, I jokingly look at her and I'm like, "You know why we got through, right?" And she's like, "Why?" And I go, "I'm white." Like I'm completely fucking joking about this. I'm like, but this is the reason that they just like waved us through is because I'm white. And then and so we both get a chuckle out of it. And then all of a sudden I kind of see her expression change where she's like thinking, she's doing this thing. She goes, "You know what?" She's like, "When I usually go with like my family and stuff, they ask to see our receipt. And she goes, but when I'm with you, they don't. And I was like, holy shit, we're onto something here.
Yeah.
So we started to talk about like which section, like if you're leaving the gardening section or if you're leaving the regular store, what is going on with that camera? That's awesome. Leave it like that. Oh, wait, go back to green. Go back to green. Right there.
All right.
Oh, wait, what's the green screen going to look like now?
No, actually, this is like, that's a post effect.
Oh, okay. So anyway, so as we're sitting there, we were talking about if you're going to the gardening section or the regular store, it kind of just depends. Because she's like, I get stopped every single time leaving the I'm green, leaving the gardening store, and I'm like, yeah, I think that's typical for most places. Like even if you're like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, they double check everything as you're heading out of the store because they don't tend to have like the detectors at the end, like when you walk through and then the little alarm goes off. It's like, hey, this person's stealing shit. So we're gonna do a study here, let's say.
Okay.
So she's gonna go in, I'm gonna go in, we're both gonna get our own items, and then we're gonna leave separately, and she's gonna go up and see if she gets stopped with her receipt, and then I'm gonna go up and see if I get stopped with my receipt, just to kind of see what happens. Like this isn't like a huge social experiment where you can be like, oh, they're racist, or oh, they're not. It's not like that. This is for pure entertainment value.
Okay.
Just because we got a chuckle out of it. And after the laughter, she realized, holy shit, you might be right. So that was just one thing I want to bring up. And then, when we do finally go do this, hopefully we'll either get some video of it or at least I'll have an update for you.
Yeah, like if you put like your get a shirt with a front pocket. Have your phone sticking out.
Yeah. Just kind of have it hanging right there.
Yeah, and just be like, oh, yeah. That'd be great.
You could afford like spy glasses or something.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let me go through the chat here. People talking about Coca-Cola and all that other stuff.
Lana Del Rey.
Cole guy asks, does anyone else go to the gas stations and put some of every flavor available? Dude, that's all I used to do.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when you go to like a pizza?
A suicide. It's called a suicide.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where you just kind of like that. And here's another really random story. Oh, Scott, you're going to get a kick out of this.
All right.
So it was like a couple Saturday nights ago. My girlfriend are heading back to her place. And I randomly get this urge for a Slurpee. Because we drove past Sonic and they had the big advertisement for their kind of Slurpee drinks, the slushy things.
Gotcha.
I can't drink those though. Those just absolutely, it's cold headache nonstop. I can't have them, which sucks because I like them.
Yeah.
But it fucking hurts. No matter, I can drink it as slow as possible. The only way I'm ever going to drink that thing is when the ice is melted, and there I might as well just buy syrup.
That's good.
Or watered down syrup, actually. So randomly, we just decided, hey, we're going to swing into an old 7-Eleven, get ourselves a Slurpee. So we go get Slurpees, and this was pretty late at night, and I was already tired, so I didn't want just cherry, and I didn't want to do the whole Coke thing.
Right.
So I filled most of it up with the cherry flavor, and then I put a little bit of Coke on top.
Nice.
And they have these candy straws where it's like, it looks like a big like lollipop, but it's a straw. That's a lot of sugar.
Damn.
It's a lot of sugar. Like my stomach was upset all fucking night because I ate like 10 pounds of sugar. So then we get back to her house and she doesn't have cable. She's just got an antenna, with basic channels like I do at my house.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that when you go flipping through, you find some really interesting things on those, like the HD channels. Like you'll have the CBS affiliate, which is like 4-1, and then you'll have 4-2, 4-3, so on and so forth. And we ended up watching this thing. I can't remember what the hell it was called, but it had Will Wheaton. And did you ever watch Attack of the Show, Scott?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, remember Allison Hazlett?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so she was on this too. I shit you not. It's a TV show where they're playing Magic the Gathering, in Dungeons and Dragons, and they're talking strategy.
Like-
And we got sucked into it too. Like, so here's me and my girlfriend. We're having Slurpees, watching a fucking TV show where they're playing Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons.
You ever just have one of those moments where you're just like, I'm a fucking adult?
Oh, like yeah, that happened. Like when we were sitting there, we're just kind of watching TV, and like it took a couple of minutes after we were having a conversation, which is I think what made it easy to get stuck on the channel because I just stopped flipping. Because originally I stopped because I was like, oh my god, these people are playing Magic the Gathering on the fucking television. And so as we were sitting there, we just happened to notice that these are two adults drinking Slurpees watching a grown man play Magic the Gathering on television. Speaking of Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons, I think we're working on something with Military Gamer Supply.
Yes.
Do you want to go play Dungeons and Dragons with us, Scott?
I've never played.
I've never played either.
I'm having a Rice Krispie treat, by the way, just in case anyone's wondering. Yeah, no, I'll do it. Like, what the hell?
Because we talked about like they would do like Magic the Gathering kind of lessons. I've never played that game either. But Nico and I were talking about Harmon Quest.
Yeah.
Haven't you and I talked about it?
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but
Well, you got to pay for CISO, and I don't want to pay for CISO.
it's not going to happen.
Although they technically are on YouTube, but the audio is pitched. Like there's
Yeah.
one of them where what's her name? She's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She's like the receptionist.
Chelsea Peretti.
Chelsea Peretti.
She's hilarious.
So she was on the second episode, and I noticed when she's talking, it kind of sounds like this. And I'm like, she doesn't sound like a dude. Like, what's going on? But so somebody bootlegged it, and they put it up on YouTube, and then they just pitched it. Like this person pitched it down, and then there was another person that pitched the audio up so that it would avoid the YouTube trackers.
The robots.
Yeah. So, but if you don't know what Harmon Quest is, it's Dan Harmon, the guy who created Community, Rick and Morty. There's been a ton. He wrote for the Sarah Silverman Show. There's a great documentary on him about Harmontown, which happens to be his podcast. And on his podcast, they used to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Now he has a show that's called Harmon Quest, and it's him and the two guys from his podcast, whose names are there's Spencer. And the other guy's name I always forget.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. It's like Jeff or something?
I know, but the guy is fucking hilarious. Which, I hate forgetting the guy's name, but the guy's hilarious.
And his ex-wife, who apparently is still on the show.
Yeah, and his ex-wife. And then they bring in a guest. I think the first guest P.F. Tompkins, I think?
Probably, yeah.
I think it was P.F. Tompkins. And then the second one, they had Chelsea Peretti. And that's all the guests I know of. But it's basically them playing Dungeons and Dragons, and then it's animated. So they're goofing around playing Dungeons and Dragons. And so I was talking to Nico about it. So that's what we're thinking about doing when it comes to going out to like military gamers line.
We should totally get Dan Harmon's ex-wife to come join us. That would be awesome.
There you go.
She's a redhead. I would think redheads.
Sonia asks if my neck is stiff. Why? Can you tell my neck is stiff? I've actually, one of the things that I've been working on is that my posture's terrible. And my neck, I do this too much where I sit forward.
Oh yeah.
So
now you say that, I've seen you do that all the time.
Yeah, I've been doing neck exercises and stuff, so my neck is kind of sit. Plus, I'm getting my ass kicked at the gym. Which, by the way, so I'm on the heavy bag yesterday at the gym, and there's this group of 3 kids, probably ages 8 to 11 or so, and they're over on some bags near me, and man, I swear to God, we're like halfway through the round, and it smelled like one of them shit their fucking pants. It was so fucking gross as I'm trying to get through this workout, and it smells like literally somebody took a dump on the floor. I actually had to stop. Like, I wasn't physically tired. Like, I kept going.
I gotta walk away.
I'm like, I gotta step away from this for a second and let that fucker loft out. Okay, catch up on the chat here. Ivan Carlos, whichever one you want to go by, says that I look like a nightclub when I was changing colors. Scott says I'm an invincibility star.
Yeah.
Slush puppies are better than Slurpees. No, Slurpees are the top dog, Call Guy. Slurpees are the top dog.
I don't know. That one's a tough one. I'd have to try them side by side.
Kimberly says, did you know there's a card game based on the Oregon Trail? I did. I haven't played it. Like, I've seen it, but I haven't actually played it.
Wait. I got to see if I can set this on my phone here real quick.
Hey, Cole Guy has a pretty good idea here. That would actually be a pretty interesting, like, B versus B or something. We could throw Scott in there, too. where we could see who could drink a Slurpee the fastest.
Oh,
I would lose. Because
that hurts already.
For some reason, drinking something cold, just absolute, like, it just destroys my, like I don't know what it is, but it's especially the stuff that Sonic sells, like their Slurpee things, like those. I can't drink them at all. And then some other people, like we had mentioned, that Filter is coming to El Paso.
Yeah, boy.
They're going to be here for Sun City Fair, I think.
Yeah.
And Filter's one of those bands that wherever I'm at, if I was in Florida, if I was in Portland, and they were coming to town, I always make it a point to go check out Filter. And like I had a really funny story about one of the shows I was at, where I felt bad. Like we were in this one venue, it's a smaller venue. And I haven't been to enough venues here in El Paso to know what I could relate it to. But it's one of those smaller indoor venues, not like super tiny cramped,
right?
But it's just a smaller venue. And we're at this one show, and there's like nobody there. There's like maybe 100 people at this Filter show.
Okay.
Like nobody. And so I'm standing there down on the floor with one of my friends, and he's like, God, he's like, they're playing like Welcome to the Fold or something. And he's like, he's like, nobody's in the pit. Like, I really want to get in the pit. And I'm like, and there's like these few guys that are in the front that are kind of like starting their own pit and stuff. So I'm like, well, fucking go, man. So I just kind of gave him one of those and I pushed him out there.
Yeah.
So then I continued to watch the band. And then like maybe 20 seconds later, this thing out of the corner of my eye, I just see go, and like it flies past me. And he's a big dude. I'm talking like big guy. And so I see this thing fly by me, and I turn around, and there he is on his ass, like just sitting on his butt with his feet out like this, and he's got like that sad puppy dog look on his face.
Yeah.
And then he just looks up at me and he goes, I'm getting too old for this shit. And then he gets up and goes and gets a beer. He's like, I'm not having any of that.
That's tough when you reach that moment, you know?
Yeah, when you realize that specific moment.
I can't do this anymore.
Which then was going to lead me to another story where we had actually had we got on the subject of Filter, and then somebody brought up Army of Anyone in the YouTube chat a couple days ago, and like that's like my highlight of my radio career was recording with Army of Anyone.
Okay.
If you're not familiar with Army of Anyone, it was Richard Patrick from Filter as the lead singer, the DeLeo brothers, bassist and guitar player for Stone Temple Pilots, and then you had Ray Luzier, which I think it's Luzier is how you say his name, who's now the drummer for Korn. He replaced David. So when they were first going to release their one and only album, actually, they did like a radio tour where they would go around doing acoustic sets for all the stations. And it was so soon after recording their album, they had actually forgot a lot of the songs. Like they kept making mistakes.
Ah, okay.
So I was the production guy down there. So I'm the one in the production room recording them. They're in a separate room with their instruments recording, and we go through like 5 different takes of them doing the song. Like they would get through the first verse, and then they would fuck up, and then they have to get back into playing.
Yeah.
So once they're done recording the song, I already know in my head which takes I want to go with.
Right.
So I start editing, and then they wrap up. 30 seconds later, they walk back in, and then Dean DeLeo walks up behind me. And he's like, hey, man, he's like, I want, and I don't remember what the order was, but it was like, I would like, verse number 1 from take 3, verse number 2 from take 4.
Damn.
And he just starts to listen to all this shit. But before he was done talking, I looked up and I go, it's done. And he goes, what? And I go, yeah, it's done. Like, I can edit pretty quick.
Yeah.
So then we play the song. And the whole band was like, holy shit. And so then this was the greatest radio moment I've ever had. Dean fucking DeLeo walks up behind me and he like does this thing where he kind of slaps his arms on my shoulders.
Yeah.
And he goes, you're the best fucking audio editor I've ever seen.
No shit.
And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was walked out at that moment. But yeah, like that's like the pinnacle. Like that was like
that's fucking
cool.
like
the moment was having Dean DeLeo compliment my work.
I love STP. And like they always got like shit back in the day? Like they were like bubblegum grunge.
Yeah, kind of that like it was almost like the post grunge, like we're
Yeah.
riding the coattails of Nirvana and stuff. I always really liked STP.
But yeah, like that. They're like tiny songs from the Vatican gift shops. Like one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah, STP. I think I don't know if you can really call them underrated though.
Yeah, no, they did well. So it's not like they were unknown, but
I remember I was
they got shit on
obsessed.
more than they needed to.
Yeah, I was obsessed with Vaseline.
Yeah.
The song and maybe the real stuff when I was a kid.
No.
Same age now, 14.
All right, so we're getting stuff in the chat about about Street Fest. So
Oh yeah.
we can't.
Here, hold on. Let me swing this over to Scott.
We can legally not tell you who the bands are until Friday because that's just how like life works and also contracts. So, but we can give you like some hints. So like the bands play guitars.
There's a drum set.
There's drum sets with most of them. Yeah.
There's a person who sings.
Bass players. Sometimes so a few singers. In some bands,
There will be more than
there
one.
will be harmonies and stuff.
Yeah, and it'll be more than one band.
Yeah.
Like we're not just going to put one band up for both nights.
I'll tell you. There's going to be at least 6 bands.
Oh, there you go.
There's going to at least 6, and speakers. I think some bands are bringing some speakers so that you can hear it. And
And I'll do a stage dive. If the YouTube chat promises to be in the front of the stage when I'm doing a stage announcement, and they promise to catch me, I will stage dive.
fucking A. See, you heard it right there.
Why?
Nah, he's not going to do that shit. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Like in all honesty, like if people were willing to do that, I might actually do the old stage dive. I had a friend.
Have you ever?
No, fuck no. I don't want people touching me. Come on.
Lisa did once and they didn't really catch her. You should ask her about that.
Oh, fuck.
I wasn't there, but I heard about it.
Oh my god! Like that reminds me. There was the one where there was. I think I mentioned this story on the AfterBuzz, where there was that smaller girl who asked me and my 2 friends to throw her up into the crowd, and we hurled the shit out of her. I mean, like 'cause we all are not like all of us are about 6 foot, roughly around 180 to 200 pounds.
It looked like this cheerleading championship.
Oh, it's just, woof, just tossed her like a rag doll, and she went up, and she was facing down like Superman, like this, and then as she was in the air, she turned, so she was like this,
Yeah.
and when she like basically went, poof, nobody caught her, just fucking wham, like right on her ass, and then all 3 of us are like, oh shit. And we probably threw her like 3 full people in front, like so, like
No
it was
shit.
way up there.
Oh shit.
So then, of course, everybody wham like stares at us, and we were like, "Hey, she wanted to go up,"
That's it.
but then no time at all. She's up bouncing around.
Oh well, yeah.
She was on something.
Didn't feel a thing. Here's another hint. Every single person who's going to be playing at Street Fest was born in the 20th century.
Oh, there you go.
Every single one of them.
Cold Guy says, "How about you and me stage dive together?
Well, that would mean
You want to hold hands?"
that would mean he would have to be on stage, and that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
I think that might be about it for that.
Yeah, I mean, we can continue to give more hints if you like. But
Yeah, Scott gives you more hints. One of the other things I was going to bring up was like these Tool concert stories that I have.
Yeah.
Because they just recently popped back up on my Facebook page because it was something that I posted on Facebook a few years ago. Tool did that one tour where they kind of started up in like Spokane, Washington,
Mm-hmm.
and then did like a straight down the West Coast thing.
Oh, okay.
And so when I found that out, like, I don't know, have I told you this? Like, my parents were huge Tool fans, or are huge Tool fans.
No.
Oh yeah, they used to have like back when they were still married, they would have Tool Sundays.
That's
where
fucking cool.
like they would all that just that shitty adult stuff you have to do, pay bills, clean the house, like all that stuff. They would take all the Tool albums, pop them in the CD changer, and just let it play.
Nice.
So when I found out that Tool was going to be coming near Portland, because at that time I think it was the only dates that were announced were Spokane, Washington, and Eugene, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was willing to fly with me to Spokane to go see Tool up in Spokane. And then I would go down to Eugene with my mom to see Tool down there because
Nice.
at this point they were split.
Right,
So
right.
this was the advantage of divorced parents and the fact that I get to go see Tool twice. Once with my dad, once with my mom. So ultimately they announced another tour, so they were in Portland and then they went down to Eugene. So I went to the Portland show with my mom and my sister. And like just some really random shit kept happening through the night. Like there were these two guys, and this was right after my sister had neck surgery. So she's sitting there, and there's these two just obnoxious people. Like, these guys got to be 21, 22 years old, and everything, or at least the way they would recap everything they would say was, "Fucking Tool, bro," or "Dude, fucking Tool." Like it was some iteration of that where it was dude or bro and fucking Tool was somewhere in there, like constantly. And all I envisioned was where we were sitting, and they were really like truly right behind my sister, was these guys like keeling over and like landing on my sister who just had neck surgery. So needless to say, I was kind of doing this thing frequently, like leaning over my shoulder, making sure just in case. So these were the same guys that when I was using the restroom, we happened to get seats that were like in like the club level or whatever.
Okay.
So we were able to have like bathrooms that weren't like hoarded with people. And as we were like, I'm standing at the urinal, I'm sitting there, this one guy next to me is just fucking yapping his brains out. He's talking to like other guys over here, and then this guy cracks a joke of, "I think this guy next to me is gonna punch me in the face." And I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm like, dude, I'm sitting here peeing, man. So then I just randomly said, "Not while you got your dick in your hand."
Whoa, nice.
And so then the whole bathroom starts laughing, and I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah.
dude, don't talk about the bathroom, man.
Yeah, that's not right.
But then the other time, as we were leaving, the show had ended, and you walk down the aisle and you go up the stairs, and as we're walking out, this one guy like cuts my mom off, and so we all start walking up, and then there's a guy behind me, and I get this tap on the shoulder, and this guy asks me, or he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "don't kick my friend's ass." And I'm like, how angry do I look? I mean, like I said it on there yesterday. Like I realize I have resting bitch face. Like this is nothing new. Like this is like because I was mentioning this to Joanna. Like we were talking about sitting down or standing up at shows. Like which do you do? And if I will do both. I have no problem standing up, no problem sitting. But I can tend to look just like I'm bored, where I'm just like.
It's probably a combination of the tats and the bald head.
Yeah, but then also just my face in general. It's kind of resting bitch face.
Yeah, okay.
So I turned around to the guy and I'm like, "Why would I kick your ass?" Like, I'm like, "I'm not going to." And he goes, "Oh," he's like, "'Cause that guy just cut you guys off." And I was like, "Oh, don't worry." And I was like, then the guy said something to the effect of, if he goes slow, just smack him. And I was like, "Oh, don't worry. If he goes slow, I'm pretty sure my mom will let him know." And the guy was like, "Oh, I knew it, man." And he's like, "Oh, no disrespect, but we thought that you were here with like your mom or something like that." And I'm like, "There's no disrespect at all. Like my mom loves Tool. Like
yeah, so
here we go.
That's pretty fucking cool."
So then the guy was like, "That's awesome that you're here with your mom, dude." He's like, "You just gave me like an extra boost to be able to drive home." Because apparently this guy was like 3 hours away, and it was like cool enough that I was there with my mom at this concert at the Tool show.
He's gonna remember that forever.
Yeah. And then the other Tool story was when we first got there. I just made the comment, since it's me, my mom, and my sister, and I was like, "Ooh, now we get to play," because this was right after this drunk guy almost fell into my mom. Like we're out like in the outside area where the concession stands are at the arena, and this guy like almost just ran right into her and just took her out. And so I made the comment. I go, "Now we get to play who's drunk, stoned, or on acid."
Yeah, baby.
And my mom didn't hear the whole thing I said, and she goes, "Well, let's go get drunk." I was like, "All right, Mom." Fucking Tool, bro.
Fucking Tool. That's fucking.
So
Tool's like a blind spot for me.
What
There's like some people who listen to Tool and they're so fucking passionate about Tool that it kind of like almost.
It makes them obnoxious.
Yeah, and so it's like I never heard anything about Tool that I disliked, but it's like it didn't make me want to run out and like jump into it because I'm afraid I'm gonna become like
one
so
of those
obsessed.
douchebags.
Yeah, and then be like,
see, like I
have you heard the message, brother?
I avoid being that guy. Like
Yeah.
I love Tool, and pretty much all the stuff that Maynard does, whether it's a Perfect Circle or Pucifer or whatever.
Yeah,
but I refuse to be that guy because Tool fans really can't.
they really do sometimes, and it's like, oh Lord. Lord.
Like, you know, if you listen to Tool,
Fuck
but
up.
you also listen to like Korn or
Yeah.
you know something like that, like they'll look down on you, like you're not a real rock fan. It's like, you know what? Go fuck yourself. Jesus. Carlos says it sounds like I have a cool mom. I have a really cool mom. My mom's the shit. She, you know, and she actually right before I moved here, Pucifer, one of Maynard James Keenan's other bands, they were coming to Portland. So and it was actually right around her birthday, so I got her 2 tickets to go check them out before I ended up moving down here. And Phil just put in the chat, Tool sucks. Just kidding. See, now here's the thing: is that if you hadn't put the just kidding, there are those Tool fans who'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, you get
You
murdered.
asshole!" Blah, like just being irate. It's like, dude, it's banned. Calm down. Let's pump the brakes, buddy. Like, but here's the thing: whether or not you like Tool, if you've never seen a Tool show, go see a Tool show.
Maybe that's the way I should do
Stinkfist
it.
Live
Yeah.
is awesome.
Maybe I should see him live first, and then I'll just blow my mind
Yeah.
or something.
Stinkfist Live is awesome, and I don't mean that kind of stinkfist.
Mm.
All right. So on that note, 60 seconds, couple of minutes here. I'll let you guys go ahead and type whatever you want in the chat. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, realize that Scott has already responded to Street Fest questions, so you can
That's about
put
it.
them in the chat, but they're not going to
You
get
can do whatever you
answered.
want. So what other music does your mom dig?
Oh God, here's what does suck is when I moved back to Portland. Like I had her on the right path.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She was listening to rock.
Okay.
She was, it was actually, when I first got into radio, Cole Guy says he wants to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers live. Don't. They're fucking terrible live.
Oh no shit!
They suck live, dude.
Womp womp.
But when I first got into radio, like I'd always listened to rock, and like it would make my parents nuts because I'd have my CD player downstairs. It was constantly turned up, and they fucking just hated it. Like it got like irritated my dad. But then they both ended up really getting into rock and roll.
Cool.
Like in certain bands really resonated with both. Like my dad became a gigantic fan of Seether. So Street Fest
Wow.
last year was a big deal for me. You know, when you flew out.
Yeah, that's
you got
right.
to see
That's right.
Seether at Street Fest.
That's fucking cool.
So my mom wanted to kind of know what the music that I was going to be playing and stuff like that on the radio would be. So I burnt her this CD, but I didn't put any of the heavy stuff on.
Right.
And generally, if you burn a CD of like a lot of that, like the rock that is like more down tempo
Yeah.
and not as heavy, it kind of tends to be sad.
Oh yeah.
So I burned her the CD, and she's like, "Are you okay?" Like I had like "Mama, I'm Coming Home," Incubus Warning,
Yeah.
like Seven Dust Angel Sun, like
Nice.
all these like I don't blame her. Like I'm glad she like you know was picked up on enough that she asked about it. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like if you want, I'll burn you another CD with some you know more up tempo, heavier stuff. So yeah, so that's what she got into, and then for like the longest time, I had her on that path. I got her into stuff like Pucifer, which she loves that. But then when I moved to Portland, I started working in country radio, and God bless my mom for being the loyal mom that's going to listen to what I'm doing on the radio.
Yeah.
And now she listens to fucking country.
Yikes.
And it was the same, like seriously, she was like the target demo for the station I worked at because she had no problems listening to the same 3 songs over and over again.
Oh well, there you go.
Constantly.
Huh.
And that's what the worst. So I would go do like a 5-hour air shift. And I did like, as much as I could turn the monitor down in the studio and try to like watch TV
Yeah.
or do something. I actually, this is how much of a nerd I am. So have you ever heard of Khan Academy, Scott?
Yeah. That website where you can do all these.
Yeah, you can learn
courses.
stuff.
Yeah,
They have videos. And so I would go to Khan Academy and do all the different sections. And the one that I mainly did when I was in Portland was chemistry. And I have a notebook full of me balancing chemical equations while I was on the air.
Wow.
Yeah. Like there's a full notebook of me
Instead
balancing chemical equations.
instead of listening to country music.
Yeah.
I like country music. I just don't like anything like after like I don't know 98.
Yeah, see, and that's the problem. That's all
Yeah.
we played. So what would happen is I would go do this air shift. I would go get in my car. I would drive home, and then I'd get home, and you know what was still playing in the fucking house?
Oh god.
The same goddamn music over and over. But that did lead to actually another really cool radio moment. Was where they had like the CMAs or something like that, where they do all those like roundhouse interviews,
Right.
where they just have all the stations set up and then all the artists just kind of bounce from table to table. and I think we knocked out 80-something interviews in 2 days.
Damn.
Like Danny Dwyer, that was the guy that I worked with. One of the nicest guys on the planet, super fucking talented, like one of the coolest guys in radio you could ever possibly meet. Just cool as shit. And so he was the one doing the interviews. I was the one back in Portland. And the very last person to come through was Jake Owen. And my mom loves Jake Owen. And so I'm talking to Danny in his headphones, and I'm like, dude, can you get him to give a shout out to my mom? He was like, yeah, sure. What do you want him to say? I'm like, I don't know, something about, hey, like next time I'm in Portland, we'll see you, yada, yada, yada. So I get this recording from Jake Owen that was, personalized to my mom. And so I save it in an email. And if you don't know, another side part of the story is that we used to babysit twins when I lived in Portland. Yeah. Infant twins. And she had to cover for me that day and watch them because I had to go into work to do these interviews. And so I email it to her, but I didn't put anything in the subject and I didn't put anything in the actual meat of the email because I wanted it to be a surprise. So that even the name of the MP3 was just called Message to Mom. That was it.
Okay.
And so I'm driving home and she's already texting me like, hey, when are you going to be home? And like, did you send me an email? It looks really suspicious. And I'm like, yes, it was me, but don't open it yet. So then I get back to the house. She's there. And it's just been a hellacious day with the twins. Like it was just one of those days where they were uncomfortable, like, they were sick, and it was not a good day. So as we're sitting there, I get to go relieve her so that she can go out and do something else. And then she hears the message from Jake Owen, and I've never seen my mom's eyes light up like that before.
No
like
shit.
Just this big, she's like, is that? And I'm like, yeah, it was Jake Owen. I got him to say hi. And she's like, oh, like absolutely, like just made her fucking day, if not week. And
you're a good son.
That was the coolest shit. But even the fact that like Danny Dwyer was willing to do that for me after doing 80-something interviews over 2 days, it shows you the kind of guy that he is.
That's pretty fucking cool.
And that's the one thing I'll definitely take away from working in Portland is I met some of the absolute nicest, coolest, most talented people on the planet that I've ever seen in radio.
Fucking cool.
Okay, let me scroll through here real quick and answer any of these other questions. We had not really an argument, but a debate on who was better, Korn or Tool. Personally, I'll take them both.
You don't have to choose!
I think Cole Guy was saying that his bucket list was for like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You can go, but it's going to be off-key, chances are.
A bang a bang a ding a bang a bing
So
bong.
it says George Strait all the way. I'll go Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash, but I'm a big George Strait fan.
Carlos wants to know that since I was in Florida, are you fond of death metal? I think you mean fond of death metal. I've never really been able to get into death metal. Although I do have a few tracks on like a workout playlist that I'll listen to. Eric says his top 3 live bands are Korn, Slipknot, and Mudvayne. Those are all some pretty damn good live bands. And if you've seen Jonathan Davis in the past almost 2 decades, you'll notice that he'll leave in between songs. He's sucking on oxygen. Because it takes so much out of him to perform like that.
Yeah.
He'll do like a song and then he goes back. And because I remember I was up front, like right at the stage one time, and I saw him walk back, and he kind of sits down and he's sucking on oxygen because it takes so much out of him to do that. Mr. Cardboard says top 3 bands he's seen: Mars Volta, Tool, and Rob Zombie. I've never. No, I have seen Mars Volta. I think I saw them open for System of a Down.
Damn.
System of a Down, great live band too. Not like nonstop. You want to talk about like boom, 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 boom songs? No encore.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the no encore thing is a big selling point for me.
Fuck encores.
Like
if you all know that there's gonna be an encore, like what's the fucking point?
Yeah, wasn't the whole point of the encore was that like you wanted more? Like it wasn't planned?
Like, why don't I just give you everything I have and then you just go home?
Yeah, or you could be like Method Man and Redman. They would play the same song twice at the end of their shows. The Rockwilder, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like their most popular song. Everybody knows that song.
Yeah.
But it's short. It's only like 2 minutes.
So
they'll play it.
Yeah.
And then the crowd's still going, and they're just like, "You want to hear it again?" And he's like, okay. So then they end up playing the same one.
And that's how you fucking know the show's over.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up with just a couple of comments. Hatebreed. I don't think I've ever seen Hatebreed live. Actually, I think they may have been at like an Ozfest I was at, but I was doing something else while they were up on stage. That does remind me of a Killswitch Engage story. Back when Howard was the lead singer of the band, and I just remember they were like one of the top acts on the side stage, and I remember just walking through this area that was between the two stages, and I hear him announce how he doesn't care about seeing tits, he wants to see pussies. And he's legitimately telling women to take their pants off and then get on their like significant others or just a random dude's shoulder so he can see her vagina.
That's a man who knows.
Like
what he
I
wants.
did a double take because I'm walking through and he says that and I'm like, just say if he wants to see.
That's great.
I've never met Dave Mustaine. Carlos is asking if we've ever met him. I've never met him. And no, he wasn't a dick when we interviewed him.
No,
We had him on the phone, and he actually dropped a couple of S-bombs on us where I had to hit the old dump button. And
Dummy.
he specifically told his rep, hey, can you call them and apologize for me? I just a couple of S-bombs slipped out, and I'd like to apologize to those guys because I know
cool.
that's not really that's not acceptable for what they're doing.
Not
and I was like, dude, like, because he gets a bad rap. Like Mustaine is known as one of those guys that can be kind of a hard ass.
Yeah.
But to do something like that, like that's cool as shit. I enjoyed that.
Cool.
Like that was kind of cool.
When was the last time that has ever happened?
Yeah. So, on that note, Scott, you got anything else?
Bands at Street Fest will likely wear clothes.
Likely.
What if?
How funny would it be if one of these bands shows up nude?
He's just totally nude. And
then everybody would be like, Scott lied to us. One of the bands is nude.
There's a couple of bands I don't want to see nude. I don't want to see any of them nude, but some of them would be a lot worse than others. I'll promise you that.
That would have been like seeing Blues Traveler back in 1994.
This
is Braylon on that harmonica. He's just jiggling along with. I think on that note, we should wrap up this episode. I think we broke Scott.
Let's hope.
All right. On that note, see you guys next week.
All right, cool guy. Here's your shout out. Be cool. Have a good week.